From Screen Junkies Studios in the heart of Los Angeles, this is Screen Junkies Movie Fights. Now your host, Andy Signore.
Hello, Screen Junkies. How you doing? Welcome to Movie Fights. I am so excited because we are actually doing something special here that these guys had no idea they'd be doing. A while ago, we did a fan submission. You guys all submitted, and we said we'd have some fans in the audience. Well, we actually tricked them in honor of Prank It Forward, and they just found out that they will be fighting instead of being spectators. These are three super fans of Screen Junkies that we're so honored to have here, and they have some amazing fights. I'm going to explain a little bit more and send background, but just so you all know what's coming up today, some amazing usual battles. Who should play the new Wolverine? Who should join the Fast and the Furious franchise? Best James Bond movie? Lots of fun stuff we're going to break down. As always, if you don't like a fight, you can pick a fight, bottom right-hand corner. You can click it on YouTube and skip ahead. But let's explain really what's happening here. In fact, why don't we cue to a clip that's going to explain it? We surprised these guys. We filmed it. We've already edited it. And let's see what happened.
When we kicked off our Screen Junkies Movie Fights fan contest, we got awesome submissions from all over. It was a tough job, but we narrowed it down to 3 winners.
And there's no spaceship more iconic than the Millennium Falcon.
He doesn't need roads, he doesn't need rails, he doesn't need gas, he doesn't need plutonium.
The movie has everything. Arnold in his heyday, Sharon Stone when she was still hot, this chick, guys getting metal rods put through their heads.
This morning, our winners arrived at the Screen Junkies offices expecting a regular old tour. But we had a bit of a surprise waiting for them. Hey! What's going on, you guys? Come on in. Tell me your name.
Brian.
Brian, nice to meet you.
Mika.
Mika, great to meet you.
Tony.
Hey, Tony, come on in, come on in. So, congratulations and welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
They've put it on me to be the bearer of bad news today, though. There's no movie fight for you guys to watch today. So.
Because we're the contestants?
How did you know that? You guys are competing in movie fights as part of Break's Prank It Forward program, okay? But we're not gonna throw you in there cold. Let's bring in the coaches! Nick Mundy! Spencer Gilbert!
Hey guys.
And champion Dan Murrell.
Nice to meet you, buddy.
Tony, you're gonna be with Nick Mundy.
Right on.
Yeah! Mika, you're going to be with Spencer Gilbert.
Let's do this.
And Brian, you're gonna be with
Come on,
Dan
hug it out.
the Man Murrell.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, have fun, everybody, and may the best movie fighter win! Our Screen Junkies Movie Fights contest winners have had all afternoon to prep with their coaches. Their arguments are ready, the stakes are high, and the cameras are rolling. This is the Movie Fights fan competition.
No pressure, huh, guys? Whoa, this is exciting. This is so exciting. So just to help explain this, we give you each a coach, randomly selected ahead of time. You've been working with them all day, which is super exciting. But before we keep going, let's meet our fans. First up, it's Mika Valleau from Hoboken, New Jersey. Welcome, Mika. So again, quickly, what was your fight you fought for in your submission tape?
The time-traveling train at the end of Back to the Future 3.
Everyone
the
picked
Jules Verne train.
Everyone, you all picked the DeLorean, but she picked the train. It's kind of a creative choice. Brian Chambers from Niagara Falls. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
What did you pick for your argument?
I picked the Millennium Falcon, of course. It's the perfect movie vehicle of all time. Of course.
Also a very popular choice.
Yeah, but I said it in a different way. So.
You did. These were, guys, you submitted a lot, and these 3 people were really creative and fun with their choices. That's why we picked you, so welcome. Next and finally, Tony Tubes from Redfield, South Dakota. Welcome, Tony. What was your fight?
I did the DeLorean, and then I did all 3. I did DeLorean, Total Recall, and I don't want to see any more Terminator movies.
You broke the rules, and we allowed you to.
Okay.
We still picked you here.
You guys
That's
really
why he's
have
my
any
guy.
rules.
Picked one. Hey, guys, sometimes you break the rules. It's okay, and sometimes it works. Well, guys, I'm so excited to have you here. We've prepped you. Don't be nervous. This is fun. We're here just to have a fun discussion. We'll actually have a fun fight. We're here to argue a bunch of really fun stuff. But let's explain again how these coaches are going to work. You know him. You love him. First up, over here on the bench, it's Spencer Gilbert.
What's up? Shut up. Wow, it's starting early.
Spencer Gilbert right there. And next to him, the movie fights champion, Dan Murrell.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Sit next to the 2 guys I'm going to beat next week.
Wow. And then next to him, from Monday Mania, it's Nick Mundy.
The people's champion, everyone's champion.
The Rock's best friend.
Yeah.
Now you guys have the 3 people who will be competing next week in our championship bout. Obviously their stats, one of them's a little bit more impressive than the other 2, but
He's due.
Stats aren't everything.
But the stats aren't everything, and we did randomly select, so it was all fair. We randomly picked. So are you guys each feeling confident with your coaches? Who's your coach again, Mika?
Spencer.
Dan the man.
Dick Fundy.
Oh, yeah.
I had to pull that out.
So this is going to be exciting. All right, so guys, there's one more little sort of surprise that we have here. There's some rules that now we're throwing at you. They didn't know this. We're throwing this at you. You can activate your coach to argue for you for 1 round. You each get 1 lifeline. So if you're in the fight, and you know what? I want to give my coach to help me get the point. Tell me at the round. We will pull them in, and they will fight the fight for you against the other 2. Everyone follow?
Yep.
On top of that, each coach gets 3 interjections. So that means they are fact-checking this round for us, and they are there to help support you. So at 3 points throughout the fight, at any point in these battles, they can chime in. I'm going to cross off their 3 strikes, their timeouts, whatever you want to call them, and they will be able to interject and help you during the battle. You guys following those 2 new surprising rules?
Nick has a question.
Any questions? Yes, Nick. Of course Nick has a question. We can't just get to the fight.
I want 7 strikes.
Okay, thanks, Nick.
Noted.
I think I got it.
All right.
I think
So everyone, as you should know as fans of the show, I am basing this on your argument, not my movie's the best. You got to tear the other 2 down. Any
Right.
questions before we start?
None whatsoever.
Awesome. I know the coaches have prepped you. I know this is going to be so fun. Before we start though, I'm so excited to announce this as I pull. We've partnered up with Loot Crate. They're sponsoring today's episode. We love Loot Crate. They give you each month amazing fun stuff. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm mentioning this proper code. Each month they send really cool boxes of curated stuff, all nerdy, geeky stuff. Game of Thrones, video games, so many, Marvel, so much fun stuff that you can get each and every month. And we're going to help support, they're helping support you guys. If you go to lootcrate.com/moviefights10, the link description is in the description below. We will give you 10% off your new subscription. Just make sure you use the codes moviefights10. Now, I know this is an ad, but we really want your support. Go help us out. Go get the discount. We love Loot Crate. We would love your support on it. So again, Movie Fights 10, go to Loot Crate, sign up, link in the description below. All right, thank you for getting that out. In the great words of Ron Burgundy and so many others.
Now let's do this. This is where we fight. Fight!
Oh, you guys are here and you're ready to fight. Round 1.
Now I'm ready.
Woo! Get you hyped, right? All right, this is big news. Hugh Jackman tweeted that he will play Wolverine one last time in X-Men Apocalypse. So Chris Wakefield on Twitter asked, who would you cast as the new Wolverine? We're starting strong, and we're starting with you, Mika. Who are you picking?
I'm picking Tom Hardy.
Ooh, okay. Tell us why.
The reason is because Wolverine in the comics is just a short-statured man. He's basically a 3x5, and Tom Hardy fits the bill that way. He can do action. He's a chameleon. He can do anything. Like when you see him in all these roles, you see him in Inception, you see him as Bane. He's a chameleon, and the man can grow facial hair, so we don't have a problem with that.
Great. Bryan, who are you picking as the new Wolverine? Everybody go close to your mics a little bit. Just make sure.
Okay, I can grow facial hair. That doesn't mean I should be Wolverine. But, okay, so when it comes to Wolverine, the biggest thing is age. He's ageless, right? So you have, essentially, you're either going to cast him exactly the same age as he is now, or cast an older version of him. I don't want to see an older version, and I don't want to see one that's the exact same age right now. I don't want to see...
Who do you want to see?
Wolverine at all. No Wolverine.
Whoa!
Don't put him in the new X-Men's. There is a new cast that is coming in. You are getting Cyclops, you're getting Jean, you're getting Storm.
Are they
where does he
new?
fit into this?
Are they new?
He shouldn't. Yes, they're new.
Wait, hold
Yeah,
on.
no, they are new.
So anyway, your choice is no Wolverine.
No Wolverine. There are hundreds of characters in the X-Men universe that they could use here. We have seen him in somewhere around 7 movies now. Do we need another one with him in it? No, we do not. Not for a long while.
We got 2 head shakings, yes, and let's hear. Tony, who are you picking as the new Wolverine?
I'm going to pick kind of a little lesser unknown. If you saw Kingsman: The Secret Service, Taron Egerton from that. Granted, I have not heard him do an American accent. So if his American accent is terrible, then probably not.
Oh, Spencer's interjecting.
I'm not going to take 30 seconds. Wolverine's Canadian, homie. Come on.
So?
Yeah,
That's a Canadian accent.
so is Wade Wilson.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you know,
so we're
if
going to
you're
get him
casting
in about
Wolverine-
like 30 seconds?
You're casting Wolverine, he needs to sound Canadian. He's going to throw in some boots, some bubs, some...
Do I want that? Do I want a boot in the
Hey,
film?
we're the fact-checking desk. I'm checking facts.
I'm just saying, the guy's got a good jawline for it. You know, they can make facial hair in Hollywood these days. You know, and he's
want
young.
CGI
We'll have 10 more years of him being Wolverine before we're having the same conversation. So
Okay, Great. We each have your points. To clarify, it doesn't just have to be fact-checking. You could make a point for your person. So use that wisely. Spencer is our one down. You have 2 left, Spencer. All right, we got it out. We got Taron Egerton, we got Tom Hardy, and no Wolverine. Fight, guys.
Let me start by saying, sure, he's a good choice. He's English. He can't grow the facial hair. That's essentially for it. Because you can tell by the look on his face that he's got maybe peach fuzz around the chin. There's nothing else there.
That kid can grow some chin spinach.
But you're sitting there, and if you had to cast him, he's like 20-something years old, right? If you cast him, you have to go all the way back to like the early 1900s at least, or 1800s, because that's when he would be that age.
Yeah, Wolverine is like 120 years
Yeah,
old.
exactly.
I mean, he's got to look like at least a little worn.
But
He's
at
gone through a lot.
But at what age does he stop aging? You know,
Yes.
they never say that. Wolverine is ageless. Does that mean he comes out a baby and he's just going to stay a baby his whole life with little bone claws?
But how are they going to reconcile that in the movies? Are they just going to be like, oh, look, here's a new Wolverine and he's a child?
Well, there are literally hundreds of mutants out there that are ageless, and we've seen a couple of them on the screen, and they're that never really came out. The age thing never really came out. Nobody ever really cared about that. But with this, let's get somebody who's short, like you said, short stature. If I had it my way, it'd be Kurt Russell back in his Snake Plissken days being Wolverine. That's who I always wanted to see. But unfortunately, he's old as. Yeah. But I
So
just
what do
think.
you guys think of this Wolverine?
If we're gonna,
I think the fans are going to want to see a Wolverine. Like you said, we've seen him for 7 movies, and it's what people like. Not everybody has read all of the comics. Like people go to these films to see the people they know.
But for the people who haven't read the comics, they don't know what they're missing. There is just a plentiful amount of characters. They're super interesting. They have so much dynamic to them. We want to see someone else. He's been great in all these films. Minus a couple,
Well,
but
you
yeah.
can add
But-
like the new people with a Wolverine and then phase him out later, but he still needs to be
I feel like
there
you
for a
gotta
while.
have a good buffer period. I'm saying 20 years, no Wolverine.
I disagree. I think that if you think X-Men,
He's a fan favorite.
He is
Fan
one of
favorites
the
change.
he is one of the X-Men. Even when people look back at the old X-Men before Wolverine in their old blue and yellow costumes and everything like that, I think most of us would agree that we prefer the X-Men with Wolverine in it.
Okay, yeah, let's start that by saying in the comics when it first started out, and it was essentially the real First Class when it was Jean Grey and like Bobby Drake and there was Iceman and everyone was there. We didn't have Wolverine. It was extremely successful just by itself.
That got canceled. That comic book got canceled with the 5 of them, and then they had to reboot it, and they put Wolverine in it. Also, here's my problem with Tom Hardy. He can't even commit to one movie, let alone a franchise.
He just committed to Mad Max. 3 movies.
Well, he decommitted as Suicide Squad. Grant, that's going to be terrible. But there's no way he's going to do that many movies.
Here's my thing with Tom.
It's a little bit of a wash for you, Nick.
Here's my thing with Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy right now is the #1 person that everybody in the world is going to think is going to do this.
Yeah.
And it's just, the guy has so many great roles under his belt. Let's give somebody new a chance. It's just like, I don't
Here's where I need some help because I want to try and wrap up. I think I'm getting where you're coming from, but you kind of picked the cheat answer and said no Wolverine. The question is, who do you cast as the new Wolverine? I'm going to give it to you, though.
In saying we need a new one, I don't think that we absolutely have to get somebody who's just as old as Hugh Jackman.
I think the kid's too clean cut for it, though. Like Wolverine is gruff and he's
weathered.
He's sassy.
Yeah.
I mean,
pitch me for the closing arguments here. So you each prepare. Tell me what your new Wolverine or lack of Wolverine is doing in the current franchise and how you see the X-Men franchise moving. Who can start for me?
I can, yeah.
Bryan, please start.
Yeah. So when it comes to the new franchise, as I discussed before, we're seeing like essentially the First Class, and they're casting these really young mutants. We're gonna watch them come into their powers. We're gonna watch them mixing up with Professor X. You're gonna watch these characters build. If you just throw Wolverine in there, you're getting the same shit over and over again. We've seen that already. I want to see these characters who are already established in X1 build into become those characters.
Okay, Tony, what do you? Oh, Dan.
Okay, so here's the thing that I would just want to add to this is the fact that, yes, they're relaunching the X-Men and they're casting all of them younger. And they're sharing, we've already seen Hugh Jackman share the screen with Fassbender and McAvoy, and that's where they're going with the franchise. Now, if he's not going to be playing Wolverine, they can't replace him because he's been established as Wolverine, and you cannot make that character younger unless you go back 200 years. You can't just, Jackman is too good, you cannot just put some other actor in there and go, that's Wolverine now. It's Jackman or nobody.
Because the X-Men movies care about the timeline. So.
But
Time's up!
They do now. They do now.
This is not Spencer's interjection, by the way. That should be stricken from the record.
It is stricken from the record. Don't worry.
Well said, Dan. Well said.
Okay, Tony, where do you stand?
On where, like,
So pitch me your what's his name?
Taron Egerton.
Pitch me why he's the best one and what he would do in the universe.
Well, we just need somebody who we can establish as Wolverine for a long period of time. Tom Hardy in 10 years is going to be like 50 years
He's
old.
going to be 47.
In 10 years?
Yes.
Okay, well, he's going to be almost 50 years old.
Yeah, but he can still kick a lot of ass at 50. I mean,
I know, but
Jerry action films are all over the place.
You want to look at getting the numbers up for the movies. You can do that with a younger guy.
You can do that with Tom Hardy because he's a big name.
But everybody's going to be expecting Tom Hardy. And
I'm thinking the fans are going to revolt no matter who you cast. No one is going to replace
Hold on, you had your
Jackman.
piece. Mika, go ahead. Finish your last statement.
Oh, so where do I think that the...
Yeah, just give me your closing argument. Pitch me your Tom Hardy, Wolverine in the Disney universe.
I think that he's perfect. I think he would fit directly into the mold. He just is perfect for it. He's small and wiry, and he can be sassy when he needs to be, and the people are going to want change. People don't like change.
I honestly think that he's a little too serious for Wolverine, if you ask me.
He can do stuff.
All right, I got to make a rolling. This is tough. It's the first round. I gotta figure this out. This is tough. My problem. I'm trying to. Now it's complicated because I got to factor in your things. I think. Even though as the cheat answer, I think Bryan ended up pulling out the best arguments there, and Dan helped him, so I'm going to give it to Bryan.
All right.
I don't feel like either of you really sold me on how that's going to work for the universe, whereas I feel like you both did. If you had said, well, we're starting over, then maybe I would have been a little bit more on your page, but you didn't really sell me on just, he's just a new guy in there. I don't know that. Sorry, that's how it rolls. That's how it goes down here.
It's all good.
I can die happy at
Round
this point.
2. There it is. Paramount wants Transformers to become a Marvel-style connected universe, which is so stupid. I'm just going to say it. I know I'm the judge, but come on. What are you doing, Paramount? That is so dumb.
You're right, Andy.
Which made Bill Krizow on Twitter ask, what property should have a movie connected universe? Connected movie universe. So many franchises to pick from, and we're going to start with you this round. Bryan, go ahead.
Okay, so when I think of this franchise as a connected universe, I think of you need a ton of characters who have a ton of backstory and a ton of kind of years of development. I have never seen this connected universe in the animated kind of way. So I'm thinking a computer animated version of the Nintendo characters. So I'm thinking you've got DK and Mario and Link, everyone in the same universe, but in their own separate worlds. You give them their own separate film, and you have
like Smash Brothers.
Just 1 second, and you have them in your separate.
Whoa.
You have them in the separate worlds, and you build them up to the final belt, which is Smash Brothers. The final film where they all meet up is Smash
their
Brothers.
Avengers. Got it.
Exactly.
Okay. Good. I love it. We'll continue. Tony, what's your pick?
I think Mission Impossible would be, with all the different characters that we've had throughout the 4 movies, I think that we could go any amount of different ways. You know, you can go with back to like a TV series to kind of wrap it all up together, kind of like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think Simon Pegg doing a spin-off of his character, doing kind of like a comedic form of the Mission Impossible thing with him writing and directing it, or maybe just writing it. But you could have new teams led by Jeremy Renner. You can still have Tom Cruise doing his stuff on the side, but you can have Emily Blunt going out on her movie. You got you can get the girls on the bandwagon with the Mission Impossible thing. I just think that there's so many different roads that you can take with all these Mission Impossible characters. Ving Rhames can slide.
Emily Blunt in Mission Impossible?
Or wait, was she in? I'm sorry.
He's just pitching an idea.
No, I'm sorry.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Who was the girl in 4? who was the girl in
That
4?
girl.
Paula Patton.
Paula Patton.
Paula
yes.
Patton. I'm sorry. She can go off on her own thing. You can have Ving Rhames kind of popping up, doing like little Samuel L. Jackson things, keeping them all together, and everything like that. I just think that the Mission Impossible franchise would be one, because I really like the espionage, the spy stuff, and everything, and I just think that those, it can go beyond Tom Cruise.
Okay, Mika, who do you pick?
All right, I'm gonna go a little out of the box here and say Pokemon.
Catch them all.
Gotta catch them all. Gotta watch them all.
Gotta watch them all.
That's the franchise tagline, and we have butts in the seats. So it's a huge universe. They have 750 Pokemon, I think they're up to right now, and each one has its own evolution. So you
A lot of movies.
It's a lot of movies. You have tons of trainers. You have tons of villains. There's plenty of source material. There's already games. There's already animated films. There's comics. So I want this to be kind of like a live action, half CGI, like the Turtles movie that just came out. Because obviously you can't have like a Charizard running around in a live action movie. It would have to be CGI. But I think
Got it.
yeah.
CGI, Pokemon. Okay, great. Fight.
Okay, essentially there's no depth to any of his characters. We've got just essentially
There's no depth to yours either. You're just,
Oh yes, there is. It just doesn't have it through the games. It doesn't mean
do
it's
we
not
have to
there.
go back to the Super Mario Brothers movie?
No, I'm saying it's not live action whatsoever. Live action, we clearly know doesn't work, and with the Zelda thing coming up, I'm very skeptical about it. But I'm thinking, it just hasn't been done in the games. Sure, but there's a ton of backstories, there's a ton of characters, there's a ton of places to go with this. With yours, essentially, yours could even be in my universe. It necessarily is in Smash Brothers, right? You have.
That's my idea. He wants to
Essentially,
bring
it
in.
is my idea. Well, technically, we should be essentially grouping here because we are.
They're video games, but I think they're owned by different properties, aren't they?
Aren't they in Smash Brothers?
They are in Smash Brothers.
They are?
Yes.
Here's my thing. Who cares about Pokemon?
Okay, wait. No. According to BuzzFeed, the kids who are in their mid-20s are really nostalgic right now. So not only are they having kids and taking them to movies, but they want to go see these Pokemon. And Pokemon is still relevant. They're still coming out with animated films. It's still a TV show. It's ever present in our society. You just don't watch it.
Right, but you'll get the Jake and the Neverland Pirates crowd out to go watch the Pokemon movies. Okay, that's great. I just don't feel that there's enough. They've already made Pokemon movies, haven't they? They've already made like 3 or 4 of those things, and I have not heard one person go, "Oh, you gotta check out the new Pokemon."
That's because it wasn't a live action one.
But I'm just saying that I just don't think that even turning that live action is going to do anything. As for yours, cool idea, but honestly, like when I watch Super Mario Brothers, the cartoon, I just want to play with them. I just want to play with the character. I just want to go and play the games. I don't want to watch Mario and Luigi go, running from Bowser. No, I just want to play the games. And as far as Mission Impossible is concerned, with the depth,
Wouldn't that be the same movie over and over again, though?
No, you have different stories and everything.
It's
yeah,
spy.
but you're getting the whole reason that works is because they're an ensemble piece. It's like getting Fast and the Furious, and you're just getting just like Ludacris doing his own little thing. Ludacris doesn't work in any other universe. It's just like you've got Simon Pegg.
I bet you Ludacris would disagree.
Yeah, I'm sure I want to see that.
I'm sorry, but didn't Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America work separately and then come together?
But
in
they
a movie?
worked separately and came together. They aren't together and then you break them
You
up.
build out those characters, and also your show is Captain and the TV show. It came out in the '80s. It wasn't very good. That show's been out. There was also Super Mario Super Brothers show. You don't even include Captain Lou Albano in it, so I don't even want to hear anything about it. Yeah, Mission Impossible would be you would take the series, would feed into the other movies. You could spin off the characters. You would have action. It would be great. It would be like a grounded super.
Time's up.
People want to watch. People want to watch.
That was better than your last one.
You want to watch. You want to watch.
Yeah,
the reason the Avengers and everything worked is because they had their solo movies. Then they came together. It wasn't a group of people and then you break them into pieces. What makes you strong is becoming a group, not breaking
can the
apart.
Pokemon live separately?
You have to catch them.
Can you tell me a little bit more about it? Because I'm uneducated about Pokemon.
Okay.
Let me just clarify.
Hold on.
Is it
wait your turn. Ask a question.
Okay. So, are you familiar with Pokemon?
No.
Okay, so it's basically.
Not a bit.
I'm gonna 80s this down a little bit. So
Do
it's
it.
basically like kids going around collecting.
I know that. Yeah.
A Mogwai, and then they toss it at people and they fight.
Isn't that like a gremlin?
But don't they? Do they really?
A Mogwai?
Are they in a world inside that ball?
Is the main
Or do
character
they
the
just come out to
Pokemon?
fight each other?
Huh?
Is the main character the Pokemon or are they the
Pikachu.
trainers?
Ash.
I have multiple movies planned out, so it's just kind of like my main.
What I'm trying to get is pitch me the movie. Pitch me. I'm just trying to understand.
I can pitch you 3 movies.
Quickly, go.
Okay, so the first one's gonna be like Rocky with Pokemon, so it's gonna be Ash and Pikachu, and it's gonna be their training sequence, and they're an underdog because like Ash gets Pikachu because he's really stubborn and Ash is lazy, and so that's like they're against the odds in that one.
Okay.
And then 2 is going to be like Ocean's 11 with Pokemon, so it's going to be the bad guys. It's going to follow the bad guys because Team Rocket was kind of like the criminal undermined Pokemon people, and they're going to be robbing like a genetic modified Pokemon factory. Because in the cartoon, they actually start genetically modifying Pokemon.
Yep.
And then the third one, they're going to team up with Ash and take down the genetically modified Pokemon.
They sound like sequels to me.
Yeah,
so can you pitch me your movies?
Okay, so essentially you have, they're all separate movies. They're separate universes necessarily. So it's almost like even Wreck-It Ralph. The best parts of those movies was the cameos. And because of those, we have DK in his own world. He's sitting there in his own first video game where he's throwing those barrels. And you can add dimension to that. There's no reason that it can just be a one-dimensional character. We've shown time and time again that these characters.
Got it. So you're talking Donkey Kong movie,
yeah, we're talking about Mario movie,
Link movie, and
then they meet up. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. And then can you tell me again on what your movies are and your franchise that then spawn into? I guess Mission Impossible is already our Avengers.
Right, but what you can do is, I really think that the whole television show, because like with me, I didn't think that Thor: The Dark World or Captain America: The Winter Soldier were that great of movies.
So the Ving Rhames movies gonna be better than Thor?
I'm just saying that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. made me care about those movies and made it all come together for me. So I think that making a series as well as different movies starring these different characters, different espionage films, going out doing different things, the public would want something like that over, a Pokemon movie, or over,
You're really underestimating 90s
all right,
nostalgia.
I'm gonna make a ruling here. I feel like only one answer really answered the questions, whereas the other 2 were just sequels.
It's not sequels.
I didn't feel like there was really a universe building because I don't know. You didn't really sell. I don't feel like I got to give it to the Nintendo argument. Bryan gets the point. Because honestly, I don't think any of us want to see the girl we don't remember from Mission Impossible in her movie.
I will mention though,
and I think Pokemon, they gotta work together. So what's the Avengers? Yeah, but Pokemon and Charizard need to be in the same movie.
Pokemon's still a huge thing though. My girlfriend's nephew is like
unlimited Pokemon knowledge. They should all be in the Charizard.
It's gonna get butts in the seats.
Round 3.
Yeah.
Pokemon movie franchise probably good, but what's the universe building? I think it was Nintendo. Okay, round 3. With Fast and the Furious 7 opening, we wanted to know which actor should join the Fast and the Furious franchise. And don't forget, we have 4 rounds left. You still can activate if you'd like a coach to fight for you. Don't forget, you have to tell me before you start your argument. But we're going to start with you, Tony. Who would you pick for your Fast and the Furious franchise?
The original Dom Toretto, Burt Reynolds.
Yeah!
Nick's so excited.
Fatality!
Smokey and the Bandit, Bo Bandit, and you got Cannonball Run. I mean, this guy created the fast car genre. So I think Burt should be in it somehow or another, some shape or form. Come in as Dom's dead dad who isn't dead anymore, or something like that. I'm not dead anymore, son.
Fast and the Furious
Something like that.
All right, creative choice.
dialogue.
Mika, who are you picking?
I'm gonna go with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
So first of all, he fits the hair requirement because he doesn't have any.
Seems to be the trend.
He also hasn't wrestled since he lost to The Rock in 2003. So it would be a huge juggernaut. Like, if I want Stone Cold Steve Austin to be the villain, I want him to come in. He's imposing. He has a mustache. He's just this huge guy.
Hey,
come in.
Burt Reynolds has the best mustache.
Burt Reynolds lays on a carpet naked.
That guy invented the mustache.
So he has a mustache. He comes in. He's big and bulky. He is a juggernaut. And he'll come in a monster truck. There's actually a video on YouTube of him monster trucking over one of the Rock's cars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Google it.
Google it, kids. It's really fun. He's a loose cannon, and everybody in the franchise right now is just really cool, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna drive some cars. But then you throw in Stone Cold Steve Austin, it's like a grenade into these people. He can just jack up this franchise. It'd be amazing.
Good. Bryan, who are you picking?
Okay, let me start off by saying I don't want this turning into the Expendables. They're pitching 2 really old people who are past their prime, and they're sitting. No, they're past their prime.
Who are you picking?
And they're picking people with brawn. We already have way too much brawn in this franchise. So I'm picking someone much needed wit, cleverness.
You're starting to sound like Hal. Who are you picking?
Okay. God, oh no. Evan Peters from Days of Future Past.
Okay.
He's shown his charisma already. He's something that we need. There is no smart in this movie. There's just brawn. We need someone dynamic here. There's none right now, and he needs to fill that void.
Brawn is the point of the movies, though. I mean, they come in, they drive over things, they wrecked Rio de Janeiro with a safe. I mean, like that's what they do. They don't need some tech guy in the background who is like manipulating.
I didn't say he was a tech guy. I just said he was a young guy coming in, having fun with it.
How do you see them coming into the
I
franchise?
kind of see him as like this child prodigy, almost like a driver that they kind of stumble upon, and he inserts this kind of like fun-loving kind of driving as like kids do when they first pick up a car and they're just like going crazy and doing these amazing things. You know what I mean? They don't have to necessarily be like pumped up with muscle and punching things to wreak damage, essentially.
I feel like Toretto would punch him.
Yeah, what would you, so tell me, go ahead. So Stone Cold he's the villain, you said.
He's the villain, because you already know these characters. You don't need to add any more to the group. I mean, you know them, you love them. You need villains now, because a good movie with a good with a good ensemble cast needs villains so that they can fight and they can rise up against it. So I think that he's imposing. I think that he doesn't really give a shit about anything. Like, that's the persona that, like, how do you battle that? That's a really great villain.
Tony, give me a little bit more about your Burt Reynolds pitch and why he's better than these two.
All I have to say is Nick Money's going to take the floor on this one.
Wait, what?
No, you
gotta do it at the start.
Oh, you have to do it at the start?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, never mind. Well,
Tell me.
Stone Cold Steve Austin was a bad guy in Expendables 1, and he was fucking terrible. Excuse my language. He was just awful in that movie. He can't act. I love him. He can't act. I don't want a nerd in the Fast and the Furious movie.
Hold on, Spencer. Let him get his 3 seconds in.
I get an extra 10 seconds. I don't want a nerd in the Fast and the Furious movies. They would throw him out of the monster truck and kill the hell out. Burt Reynolds is the original badass in the car movies. He made hustling beer across the country badass.
Yeah.
You think what he can do when he has plutonium in the back of a Firebird with Dom Toretto jumping over a cannon and blowing it
Out
up.
of time.
Burt Reynolds is like 70.
Are you using your ding? Go ahead, Spencer.
Yeah.
30 seconds of Spencer.
Okay, Burt Reynolds.
You guys are out of things now. Just
No, that was my second
All right,
one.
go ahead.
Come on. Okay, Burt Reynolds is a million years old. You don't want him behind a car or driving.
He doesn't have to be behind the car.
He's old. He's got cataracts. You say that Stone Cold can't act. He wrestles The Rock. His entire career was based on his fake persona, where he would wrestle The Rock, and the best WrestleMania was when those two went at it.
No, the best WrestleMania was when The Rock beat him in WrestleMania 19.
Yeah, it's great acting.
Which
He
would
rose to
set
the
it up
occasion,
for
which
a
will
really
happen
good-
in Fast and the Furious.
Watch Expendables. Watch Expendables.
Watch the WWF.
I do all
from
the time.
Circa 99 to 2000.
Is anybody in this franchise really a good actor?
Yes!
There will be one when Evan Peters is in there. So.
Nerd.
Yeah, because he's done like two movies.
Think what made the fifth one so good. This has been 3 essentially movies since Fast 5 that have been relatively the same. You need to switch up. You need to put a wrench in there. You need to keep it building. Keep building this team and changing it.
What do you guys think of Evan Peters?
What made the Fast 5 good was The Rock, and they switched it to a heist movie instead of car racing movies.
Switched it, yes.
Yeah.
So switch
but,
it again.
Yeah, don't switch it again. People are okay with it right now. They didn't like it when it was the drag racing. They started falling off. Viewership started falling off. Now they're back on.
You said they're okay with it. They're still kind of like along a plateau right now, right?
No, it's pretty successful
It's
right
pretty
now.
big right now. It's pretty big. It's pretty big.
I think Burt Reynolds would bring a really cool kind of, either he comes in and Dom needs a certain car to do this certain heist or something like that, and Burt Reynolds is going to come in and he can even bring out the old Smokey and the Bandit vehicle. He can bring out something like that. He doesn't even have to be a huge part of the movie. He can just be that older gentleman who's just kind of like, here young cats. You guys take the reins and you guys do this and everything.
All right, I'm making a call. I've heard the arguments. Are you sure, Dan? Okay,
sure.
Go ahead.
I gotta back my guy up. Burt Reynolds is 79 years old. You two are talking about 1990, 1985 Burt Reynolds. Doesn't exist anymore. Stone Cold Steve Austin, we've seen it. What was the best part about Days of Future Past? It was Evan Peters as Quicksilver. He already has jumped into an established franchise as a new character and brought a lot of fun and heart to the movie. And I think he can do it for the Fast and the Furious. It's somebody, they don't have anyone like him in that cast. And they
like
need
I
to
said,
keep it
Burt Reynolds isn't a nerd.
Not your
Burt Reynolds.
time.
I don't think he fits. I don't think.
Okay, I think I'm going to make the ruling anyway. I'm going to give it to Burt Reynolds.
Yeah!
Oh my God! Are you serious?
I Why do we care about Evan Peters enough? He was good as Quicksilver, but we don't care. And I think Nick just wanted of like the fact that he said Stone Cold was terrible in the villain as
everybody in that.
He's already done that before.
Everybody in that
and
movie.
Kurt Reynolds is a creative, fun choice. You guys had the best argument.
And he
Kurt
doesn't
Reynolds
have to
gets
be a
it. Tony gets
huge
the
part of
point.
the movie.
I don't know why I put so many buzzers on that. You guys didn't need buzzers. They were doing fine on their own. And now you're.
I'm not doing fine.
I'm out.
You each have one.
Yeah.
I'm out.
And Nick is out. All
Gotta
right.
buy more.
And you still have your phone a friend if you'd like to do it.
Yep.
How's this episode going, guys at home? It's just fun. It's not chaotic at all, right?
It's going poorly.
I'm having a great time.
It's going poorly.
Round 4. Furious 7 is an action sequel, right, guys? What's the best action sequel of all time? And we're going to start back to you, Mika. What's the best action sequel of all time?
I am saying Terminator 2.
Drop the mic.
No, I'm actually not dropping the mic though. Okay, it has the best heroine, Sarah Connor. You meet her, she's doing those awesome like pull-ups. When I was a kid, I wanted to be Sarah Connor. Like that's why I try and do pull-ups at the gym now. And it has the best movie villain with T-1000. He can be the floor. He made you scared of the floor. Like that's awesome. You had to find a smelting factory to kill him. And it's better than the original, which doesn't happen at all in any action movies. I mean, you have I can't name any more that have a sequel that's better than the original. Arnold Schwarzenegger's amazing in it. When he cocks his gun, when he's like on the motorcycle and he spins the shotgun around, and like, it's amazing. It's just cool. It's fun. It's a new take on. It took whatever Terminator did, and then it just flew with it.
Okay, Bryan.
I'm gonna pass it off to the champ.
Oh!
You call
Our
it
first phone a friend. Dan is coming up to step in for Bryan on this argument. Wow. Okay, here it is. Pardon us as we do it. They're whispering about what they're going to pick. Okay.
Yeah, come on.
Dan's been activated.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm
What
sitting
are
at
you
a
fighting
table
for,
with
Dan?
Dan.
Oh my goodness!
You're going against the champion.
There we go.
Oh.
So
Don't savor
No
it.
pressure, man.
He's
quiet.
No time limit on him now.
So I'm going with a more recent choice, and it's one that I think, when we look back on it, is only going to grow with age. I'm going with the Raid 2. I think one of the things that the sequel has to do is top, like you were just saying, it has to top the original. It has to be better. The Raid 2 took the amazing stuff that we saw in the Raid and escalated it to an entirely different level. Now, I respect Terminator 2. It's a great movie.
I hope so.
How can you not respect Terminator 2? But we've been waxing nostalgic about Terminator 2 for over 20 years now. Yes,
Exactly.
the T-1000 is cool. Yes, the effects are cool. Yes, it's Schwarzenegger. But somebody's got to come in and take this crown at some point, and I think that it's going to be the Raid 2. You have computer, you have all the effects of Terminator 2, that's great. The Raid 2 is punches and fists and bullets and blood and camera work. You're not relying on the cool T-1000. It's pure bare-knuckle action.
Wow. Tony, what are you picking?
They mostly come at night. Mostly. Come on, anybody? Nobody?
No.
Aliens, man.
Oh.
Aliens. And you want to talk about
That's what I thought.
you want to talk about a movie that has that outdid the first one. That one, Ridley Scott's Alien, was a great movie, but ultimately it bored the hell out of me up until about the last 45 minutes of it. Aliens, it starts off, it's already established, you're going back to the planet after they find Ripley, and then all hell breaks loose. Plus, it's got a better supporting cast. You got Michael Biehn, Lance Henriksen, Bill Paxton's in it. All these people went on to do really great things. The movie did not have to rely on a lot of special effects. A lot of it was the regular, handmade special effects. The aliens were all real. They were all not real, but they were special effects made. They were not computer animated. Practical, exactly. I mean, all Terminator 2 had for supporting actors besides Linda Hamilton, the kid that didn't go anywhere afterwards, Edward Furlong, and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Robert Patrick. What do you have? You got Budnick from Salute Your Shorts is in there, okay?
Awesome.
Yeah, but you don't have to go on to great things to be in a great thing.
But
Maybe they just peaked too soon.
I'm just saying that Aliens, it ultimately just did a lot more for me and I think for the action genre, because honestly, if Aliens would have tanked, who knows if we would have had a Terminator 2
But
or an Alien 3.
I feel like this has been said on the show before.
Terminator
but
3.
Aliens is a completely different movie from Alien. Aliens is an action movie, and
it's better.
And Alien is a horror film, and
Horror action.
yeah, I mean it happens sometimes, but they completely devalued the alien. You had this amazing alien in the first one, and you don't know when it's going to pop up. It's really scary.
How did they devalue it, though?
They're going around killing them all the time. It's just like cannon fodder.
No,
like, you
the
don't want a
aliens are going
badass
around.
villain to be killed.
The aliens are killing them pretty much through the whole movie, if you ask me. I mean, they honestly didn't kill that many aliens in that movie. The little electric turret cannons did.
They killed a lot of aliens.
They did, but
You couldn't kill T-1000. They just shot him to slow him
Well,
down.
you could kill T-1000.
Well, they had to find a smelting factory.
And here's the thing: a Terminator versus an alien. Alien's gonna win every time.
Against the T-1000?
Of course
the
he will.
T-1000 is the floor.
Have you put a T-1000 up against Acid Blood?
So here's the thing about your two movies, which is that they're cool, and you got big fighting robots in yours, you've got aliens in yours, so already it's like, you've got those kind of cool things on screen. The Raid 2 has everything against it. It's a foreign language film. There's no aliens. There's no robots. It's reliant purely on choreography, stunt work, action. It's got a great plot. It's got a great story. And I mean, you look at there's the chase scene where they're like taking the camera, like if you're talking like technically made, they take the camera and they pass it through the car and you never notice it. It's not these big special effects things where they spend 6 months. They actually choreograph these action scenes to escalate things and to make things even bigger than they were in the first movie. And like I say, these are both movies that are 20, 30 years old. And it's like I see people say in the comments, there have been movies made in the last 20 years. We don't have to default to these movies that are the quote unquote answers.
But it's of all time.
Well, and I think that this is. I think that this counts.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen the Raid 2, and I feel like if people haven't seen it, like everybody's.
Well, I haven't either.
Yeah,
Here's my last one.
All right,
Here's my last
Spencer.
one.
Okay.
Okay, I've seen the Raid 2. I love it. Dan, can you give me 2 quotes from Terminator 2? Like right off the top of your head.
Well, I don't know a foreign
Can you
language,
quote
so
one
I can see where you're
line
going. I
from
don't
the
know.
Raid?
I don't know a
We know
foreign
we can.
language.
Yeah.
You can
No,
quote
it's
one
not what's
line.
the most quotable movie of all time. It's like what's the best action
Well, it
scene.
gets points for that,
yeah,
right?
it gets points for
great
being
No,
dialogue.
John.
Because it's
Wolfie
had
is
20
fine.
years to be. I mean, it's like they put it on posters. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger's done it 50 times at every awards show he
But is
turns
there
up to in the last
one
20
memorable
years.
character or line of dialogue from the Raid 2, which I did love. But is there one thing that you remember character-wise or
Game
dialogue?
over, man.
The story between the antagonist and the way that
The
the villain.
antagonist.
Game
No,
over.
the way that the villain.
Yes.
Hey, your 30 seconds are up, buddy. I get unlimited time up here.
The Strickler is up. The Strickler's back.
The way that the antagonist and the
to
protagonist.
see you
and
back
the
up here,
Thank
Dan.
you. Can you tell I've been waiting so long to get back up here?
It's
But
intimidating.
no,
Let's admit that you have a very tough battle here.
I do have a very tough battle here, but I got an uphill battle, but I got to fight it the way that I can. Action films aren't just about quotability. They are here in America, but a lot of times it's just about the experience of the film. No, The Raid 2 is not a quotable action film, but watch all of these movies and tell me that the most kick-ass one isn't The Raid 2 and that it's not, like I say, we have nostalgia going with these two movies, but I think this is a superior film all around. The acting is good, the story is good.
To
If
teach
you're
you
looking
an
at
aliens.
it, if you're looking at it as
Hold
a
on,
film,
hold on, just for the record.
a rounded film.
It's a superior film to Terminator 2 and Aliens.
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Wow.
I think that just because it's old doesn't mean that, like, even if it has nostalgia going for it, that's because it's good and it's lasted this long. Like, people like it. It's so good that they keep watching it. I've seen it like a million times, and you keep going back to it because you like it and it's enjoyable. And action movies, they don't have to have like crazy plots. And it doesn't have that crazy special effects. The T-1000's CGI, but everything else, like there's metal makeup coming out of Arnold Schwarzenegger and stuff like that. But
There's also terrible, terrible punchlines in that movie.
Yeah.
Like terrible little taglines that Arnold throws out and everything.
There's
But
some
that's
terrible.
what
That really-
makes a
flawless
good
movie.
action
But
movie.
it really, really kind of took him from the point where it was cool in the first Terminator to it's a caricature of himself now.
But he's
That's
a
where it
robot.
started. Was Terminator 2. Was when the "I'll be back" thing. Okay, he's gonna bring that back, and now it's gonna show up in every single movie that he does.
Yeah, but you can't blame Terminator 2 for movies that have come after it.
Terminator movies, I can,
Well,
and any Arnold movie that comes out that he goes, "I'll be back," any of them. Aliens is the perfect movie. The sequels sucked. Mm-hmm. Okay, hopefully the Neil Blomkamp one, if that one actually happens, hopefully that one is going to tie it all together and make it all awesome. But Aliens itself is one awesome movie.
Okay, I'm gonna make a ruling. This was tough. This is a tough one. You picked the best sequels I think we could have picked.
2 of them.
yeah.
Oh, Nick.
Quiet.
But
You're
I'm
out.
basing on solely, obviously, the arguments, everything else. I think Dan, you did really good arguments, but it's Terminator 2 and Aliens. I don't believe you.
Why is it
there
Terminator 2 and
flaws?
Aliens?
No, I'm saying
We
it's Terminator
both want
2.
a point,
They're,
no?
They're
No.
not better than. I mean, the Raid 2 is superior to those two films. I just don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I believe
But that
me.
aside, I get why you're fighting it, but that aside, what really put me over the edge was I do think the devalued the Alien, which made the Alien less special in Aliens, and the fact. Just all the things you said about Terminator 2. It's Terminator 2!
We're on the board.
Mika's on the board.
Mika puts on the board. There, now the applause.
Sorry, Brian.
But hey, you gotta give Tony. You gotta give Tony credit.
I beat the champ.
Uh-oh.
You gotta give Tony credit. Anyone who could get that close to arguing against Terminator 2 is.
You both. I mean, Dan,
and for the record,
Terminator 2.
Don't worry,
For
I
the
get
record,
chance to
Terminator
beat
2 is
these
an
guys
awesome.
next
Oh,
time.
it is
Awesome.
amazing.
Keep picking the Raid 2.
They have to beat me by proxy.
Yeah.
All right, round
Oh,
5.
you know what? The U always beats him.
Oh, here we go.
Here it comes.
Check the last 8 seasons.
We're rebuilding.
Seasons. Oh, yes.
Background, there's some hate between these two of your college teams. Yes?
Yes.
Okay,
Because
good.
he picked
That's
a bad
fine.
one.
Round 5. The trailer for Spectra came out. Spectre?
Spectre.
Just a reminder, we're on the Screen Junkies show.
Why is it spelled then that way?
Spectre.
Anagram.
That's Terminator Genesis.
It's spelled that way because of the
Whatever. It's the anagram. You're right, but okay, anyway, the trailer for
Right.
Spectre
Spectre.
came out. It's like Blomkamp.
Camp.
Camp.
No one corrected
Anyway,
me.
Spectre
Just
came
say
out this
Spectre.
weekend. So Nathan Ellman asked us, what's the best James Bond movie? And we're going to start with you, Brian.
Okay. So I'm not particularly fond. Well, I won't say fond. I didn't grow up with the Bond films, so I came into this kind of like not really knowing what I was going to get, and I wasn't a true James Bond fan until I saw Skyfall. I saw Casino Royale, which is really good, and I had seen the previous films like the Sean Connery's when I was younger, but it never really had any effect on me. It wasn't until it got Sam Mendes' direction with Javier Bardem, that unbelievable scene where he's walking in monologuing as there's a slow dolly in, that I went, this is one of the best films I've ever seen. Not just the best Bond film, one of the best films I've ever seen. That is one of the only Bond movies, I think the only Bond movie to ever be directed by an Academy Award winner. This is the best Bond film of all time. And I can't wait for the next one.
Tony.
Just because it made $1 billion doesn't mean it was good. It was okay, but I fell asleep in the movie theater, and that doesn't happen. Okay, never. Okay, 'cause in my eyes, I always have a soft spot for Sean Connery, Casino, or You Only Live Twice. It's a great movie. But Casino Royale is where it really tied it into the license to kill factor. That opening scene where it's black and white, and they're talking about, you need... you haven't killed anybody yet, Bond, and it takes 2. And then it just shows him just kicking the shit out of somebody in a bathroom. That's the greatest opening of any action movie ever, if you ask me. And it brought me, all of a sudden, like, seriously, in the first 10 minutes of that movie, I love Daniel Craig as Bond. He sold me on Bond in the first 10 minutes of that movie. Skyfall, if you ask me, they were trying to do something. They were bringing more of that nostalgia back. Oh, we're gonna get the car and we're gonna get him some stuff to do things with, and I don't know. Casino Royale Plus. That's where all the source material came from. Was the book, the original Casino Royale. So that's me.
Fatality.
Mika, what are you picking?
I'm going with Goldfinger.
Ooh.
So it is the first appearance of the Aston Martin. You start getting all of James Bond's awesome gadgets. It has the best Bond villain. He paints somebody with gold to paint her to death, which is amazing. Like epidermis asphyxiation or something like that is what they call it. He has great one-liners, and no, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. Like it's wonderful, and he's a smart villain. The whole point of that is he's not stealing the gold. He's irradiating it so people can't use it, so that it values his gold. Like that's a pretty awesome plot for a Bond villain. He's not sinking California into the coast or something.
I'm sorry. Did you say that he was a smart villain? This is the guy that left him in the room
there's no
with
smart-
the laser. This is the guy that had to have somebody.
He let him out of the room with the laser.
This is the guy that had to have somebody behind him or behind the other person looking at the card so he can win poker.
Yeah, but you're smart because you're cheating. That's how you win.
That's not smart.
You cheat, you win.
Being a cheater. Sorry.
Okay. Let me start off by saying that Daniel Craig in Bond in Skyfall shows the most dynamic I've ever seen in a Bond film with a character. It kind of brings him down to his
How?
core.
Explain why over Casino Royale.
Over Casino Royale, it's the introduction, of course. He does a great job, and it's showing him he's as Bond, but we've never seen essentially like his bare kind of like bones he's been brought down to. He's just like he's lost everything that made him Bond, and it builds up. There's more of a transition to be coming back into that.
Casino Royale, you heard James Bond tell a girl that he loved her.
You don't want James Bond to do that.
Exactly.
Exactly. He has sex with like 12 women every
Exactly.
movie.
That did not sit right with me, and that's why the moment he said that, this bitch gonna die. I'm sorry. No offense, but and then she died, and then you did get to see his bare bones, and then he went on a rampage because of all this, all these emotions going on. That's what set him off into being the womanizer Bond.
You don't want James Bond to be a three-dimensional character. I mean, he's essentially a superhero in a suit who drinks martinis. Like, that's what James Bond is. He's cool, he's suave. You don't want to see him in pain. You want to go with him, and it's just you want to take that journey with him as he's a superhero. You don't want him to hurt or cry or go on killing rampages just because. I mean, it's not a revenge flick. It's a Bond film.
But let's say, okay, when I watched Goldfinger for the first time, it didn't have the same effect on me. Wouldn't you think a great masterpiece in film would have withstood the test of time?
Yeah, but you said you watched it when you were young. I watched a lot of stuff when I was young, and it didn't resonate with me until I got older and I could understand the themes in it or what was going on. And so you can't take the first time that you watched a movie, if you're young doing it, then you can't take that as, oh, it didn't resonate with me, so it's not the best.
Well, and that's why I say, You Only Live Twice is still one of my favorite Bond movies of all time. It's got the old school everything. But when it comes to James Bond, License to Kill, and Sean Connery grazed that. He killed some people, but
just because you have a license doesn't mean you have to do it. I have a license to drive, and I don't drive.
But Daniel Craig, he brought that to the screen to where we're going to show you a character that is a British trained assassin, button pusher. Anything that they need, we're going to have this guy do it, and they brought that to us. They brought out the Secret Service part of it all. And, Sean Connery, it was fun and everything like that, but it was just, ultimately, it was really, let's see what kind of toys we can give him this time.
But that's what a Bond film is. Until these last three, that's what a Bond film was.
What I think about when I think about Bond, I think about great villain. Yes, hers has one, but does yours really?
Well, the Chief, that guy creeped the crap out of me.
I feel like when in the grand scheme of things, he kind of falls flat.
I'm sorry, but if that guy showed up in the middle of the night in your room over your bed, you would piss yourself.
I would if anyone did that to me.
I'm making a call. I think the argument was clear for me on that one. Tony gets the point. There were so many good points you had.
Dudes!
I think Tony did it.
Tubes!
Round 6.
I'm really behind.
I'm sorry, man. I might not call it to you. I might not throw it to you. I'm sorry.
He was the most passionate that round, and they were. You crazy?
I was passionate?
No, you were. You were close.
I clearly wasn't.
Closer.
And for the record, good movie.
Round 6.
Good movie.
Yeah,
all right?
they're all good
movies.
movies.
They're all good movies, but I think Tony had the best jabs there. Funny random question from Jacob Bugel on Twitter. Fight number 6. If you could punch one actor in the face, who would it be? And we're going to start with you, Tony. If you could pick one actor to punch in the face, who would it be?
Johnny Depp. All the way, right across the face. Right in the middle of his face.
Mm-hmm. So his nose?
Great.
Right. Right there, too. Right there.
Who's your punch in the face, Mika?
Kristen Stewart.
Wow.
I'm going with the lady because I can punch ladies.
And Bryan?
Okay, let me start by saying, Orlando Bloom is my choice. First off, he's a pretty boy. You want to punch him in the face just to mess up his face. But he said yes to The Hobbit. He should have never done that. Those movies would have been strong. They would be so much better.
You would say no to money?
Yeah, I would. If it meant like the credibility of that film, yes, I definitely would have. Viggo Mortensen said no, and he wasn't in the movie because of that. They would never recast Legolas. So if he would have said no to that, the Hobbit movie, dare I say, might have been good.
Fighting words there.
I don't
think
that would have made The Hobbit good. The Hobbit is source material that's stretched too far over movies. It's always going to be boring.
With him, though, he was the part that stretched it. Take him out, you're down to 2 movies, essentially.
So why do we want to punch Kristen Stewart in the face? Why over more of the other two?
Well, first of all, her face. It bothers me. No, she's a mouth breather. She's kind of a garbage person too. Like she slept with the Huntsman director, and he had a family. Like nobody wants to be a home wrecker, and apparently she does. And Chris Hemsworth was on that film. Try and bag that. I mean, come on. If you got Thor in your film, go for that. And she ruins everything. She's never been in anything good.
Still Alice is a good movie. Is a good movie.
Panic Room was a good movie.
Yeah, but she was
very true.
You throw a child into a room and they're gonna panic. Like she was a child. Children.
Okay, here's the thing about Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart has not shown us that she is absolutely terrible. She has not had 30.
She's home wrecked.
Yeah. But she has not shown us.
That's pretty bad.
She has not shown us 30 years of good movies and then crap movies.
She's shown us a lot of crap movies.
Right, but there's still time for her to learn and grow.
After I punch her in the face.
So you're saying Johnny Depp? Why is Johnny Depp more punchable than Kristen Stewart?
Because first of all, if I punch Johnny Depp in the face, he's gonna punch me back, and he's gonna turn back into that '90s Johnny Depp that we all love.
I doubt it very much.
It's not a magic punch.
I just
thank you.
But I'm just saying that Johnny Depp in the last almost 15 years. He's given us maybe one good movie, and that was Blow, in my eyes. Blow was his last good movie. And before that, it was really good, solid work. I mean, how many 90s movies with Johnny Depp can you say were terrible? How many movies since 2000 can you say are absolutely dog shit? Johnny Depp has made so many. I just want to punch him in the face because I want him to be awesome again. Because I want to just be like, dude, you need to start going back to your roots. The Rum Diary, he almost had it. He almost had it with the Rum Diary. I really liked that movie. I wanted to like that movie, but I just think that I want to punch him in the face.
Why? Yeah, go ahead. Why?
Let me include mine. Orlando Bloom punched Justin Bieber in the face.
Wouldn't you want to give him a high five for
him
that?
in the face, is that it's essentially no, because that means essentially down the chain of command. I punched Justin Bieber in the face.
I don't think the transitive property works for punching.
Transitive property.
I think it does.
No, I don't. Yeah. No.
But the thing about it is, when Orlando Bloom punched Justin Bieber in the face, he just punched out like
Wouldn't you give him a high
20
five
million
for that?
chances to have sex with women. You know, because 20 million women were like, that guy's an asshole. He punched my beebs. You know?
Oh, I was kind of excited about it.
Well, yeah.
I
think the majority of people
were.
There's more than 20 million women in the world.
Give me closing arguments and why. Give me your attack ad and why yours deserves a punch over the face over the other two.
She's a mouth breathing
versus
garbage.
The other two.
Oh, versus that. She's a terrible person. She needs to be punched in the face.
Versus the other two.
Yeah, well, they're
need to
they're
break
fine.
ours down.
These guys are fine. They just made bad choices in recent years in their movies. She's actually destroyed families.
Okay, the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies.
Yeah, one family.
I'm sorry.
That we know of.
If you break one family, do they not cry?
There could be more.
Go ahead. All right.
So the Lord of the
Rings marriages. Go ahead.
Lord of the Rings trilogy can't be touched. It's just by far like it's on a pedestal. No one can touch it. How great it is.
Really?
I don't think there's any dispute on that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. After the 517th ending of the last one of the last Lord of the Rings movie, I wiped The Hobbit out of my mind. I haven't seen
the
any
Lord of the Rings.
them.
The only complaint is too many endings. I've heard that many times.
No, it's not just that.
Okay, we're not debating about that here, but okay,
on topic.
Okay, so Lord of the Rings.
So is the argument because he ruined The Hobbit? Is there anything else over these two?
Single-handedly ruined
Sounds
The
like
Hobbit.
they've ruined more than just one movie. So you got anything else?
First off, he can't act, so he's ruined essentially. It's a combination between him and Johnny Depp with a Pirates franchise. I think he's worse than Johnny Depp in those by far.
Yeah, I think the Pirates franchise.
I think the writers took.
No, but Johnny Depp is still enjoyable in certain ones.
All right, Tony. Last thoughts. Why Johnny Depp over these two?
Because I miss Johnny Depp. I miss my Hunter S. Thompson. I miss my Edward Scissorhands. I miss those guys, and I miss his thought process, I guess, of choosing films back in the day and not just sucking up to Tim Burton all the damn time.
Okay, so based on the arguments, I don't know if a punch is going to cure that. And I don't think Orlando Bloom has done enough versus Kristen Stewart hasn't done anything good, and she's a garbage person, so Kristen Stewart gets the point. Mika's on the board again. Yeah. It's now tied.
Oh, yeah.
2-2-2.
Never surrender.
Yeah.
You are all tied.
Coming from
I'm sorry.
This is the last round.
You had that.
You two still have your your phone a friend's available.
I'm sorry, Nick.
If you want to use them.
I got to do this.
If you want to use them, or you can use them in the speed round, but just know it's on the line. Winner of this moves on to the speed round. The other two will do a tiebreaker.
Okay.
Everyone follow.
Started off great. I kind of felt
Round 7. This is a tie-in to Honest Trailers. Next week's Honest Trailer is a superhero film that some people say was horribly miscast. Dare I say it?
No. You devils.
Oh, I get it.
So, fight number 7. What's the worst casting in movie history? Any actor cast as a previously existing character is the rule here. So, worst casting in movie history, and we're starting with you, Mika.
Okay, I'm gonna say Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. And I realize that the prequels aren't good. I'm not taking some crazy stance on this. But the whole point, he just kept, he was terrible. He tried to make you feel sorry for him, and that's not what you want with a villain. You want to be intimidated by a villain, and he's supposed to become this evil Sith Lord. You want to see nuggets of that as you go, and not him just like having a tantrum and slicing up some sand people. Like, you want to see a little bit of maybe like sociopathic tendencies or something evil in the villain. And then you can watch that grow over time. I think that would have made a better villain, instead of him just being like, I can't like bone the girl I want, and it's like it's like Obi-Wan doesn't like me all the time, and I'm growing.
So you're saying he was pouty?
Yeah, he was too pouty for like. I think that I'm not saying they would have been great, but I think that if they had picked somebody with a little more gravitas, somebody who could hold an audience instead of making the audience want to leave, that I think that would have just made them a little more bearable.
Bryan, what's your pick?
Let me just start off by saying that's more writing than his performance. His performance is bad, but it's more.
His performance is terrible.
Yeah, but it's writing and it's chemistry. It's not necessarily.
Well, they could have cast somebody with better chemistry.
Yeah. But when it comes,
go ahead.
When it comes to casting, and you're looking at a pre-existing character, you got to look at the source material. There's nothing worse than Topher Grace as Venom. Nothing worse. Honestly.
Touche.
He misses.
I still have a good argument.
No, you didn't.
There's nothing physically that meets the Eddie Brock whatsoever. He's completely different in tone. He's different in every aspect of that character in the source material.
Tony.
While I agree with you guys and everything like that, I'm gonna go like way back to an actor who ruined a historical figure, not just Darth Vader. Before the 70s, nobody knew who the hell he was. Before. Sorry, what?
Yeah, what's your pick?
My pick is Kevin Costner in Robin Hood.
Okay. How come?
Because, well, first of all, he's the only one in that whole movie who didn't have an English accent. He had a mullet that would end all mullets.
Everybody had mullets back then.
I know, but Kevin Costner had a Costner mullet. It was different than everybody else's mullets.
Okay.
Mullets followed his mullet.
Well,
okay?
That's a good mullet.
But I'm just saying.
Sounds impressive.
Leads them to slaughter.
I just think that Mel Gibson would have been a much better Robin Hood. I think that he would have brought the accent. He would have brought a lot more to it than just Kevin Costner. And you want to talk about whiny? Oof, that guy was whiny in that movie. But I just think that he ruined what could have been an awesome movie. He had such a great cast backing him. Sorry, but the Phantom Menace, or not Phantom Menace, but the 2 and 3, they didn't have great cast backing them. They didn't have great writing backing them. That movie, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, would have been an amazing movie that would have spanned decades if Mel Gibson would have been in there.
Let me start off by saying that when it comes to hers, she was already starting from episode 1. It was already shit. Everyone knew the second one was going to be shit. He was already fighting an uphill battle. By the time he got there, yes, he was bad, but everyone was going to hate it no matter what.
Wouldn't you want to cast somebody who could take that instead of some child who could be smacked around?
Because the feel of those movies is off. It's not necessarily his performance. The entirety of those movies are off. It feels like a
But you can
toy
add
set.
somebody to a franchise and it can boost it. We've seen that.
When it comes to Topher Grace, he killed that franchise. Up to 2, everyone loved 2.
That's tough.
And then he got to him, and they added him.
That's tough.
But
he added him.
It wasn't just Tobey. Tobey Maguire was a big, like, Tobey Maguire. Nobody.
The reason
Walking
the studio,
down the street strutting.
yes,
Yeah.
that's true. But Topher Grace was added in this movie because the studio wanted Venom. He wasn't supposed to be there. We don't know what the movie would have been without him. I'm assuming it's better. But Topher Grace, his performance, and him adding overall in that movie killed it. And we didn't see a Spider-Man 4 because of it.
I mean, I just don't think that Topher Grace is what killed that movie. I don't think that
I think it was a group.
I don't think him
A
as Venom.
collaboration.
I'm not saying that he should have been cast as Venom, but I'm just saying that his Venom wasn't too bad for
Oh,
what
God.
they had to work with.
Well, and if
God,
you're
did you
going
like the
with-
character before that?
I
Anyone
honestly-
who watched those cartoons or read those comics was just like up in arms.
But
If you
going back to
ask
the
me-
source material, like if you have, like you are going into comics and stuff. I mean, not everybody. I'm not a comic book person. I watch them. I watch comic book
And
movies.
you watched the movie and
I
said,
look at
that's
comic
great right
books.
there?
No, I watched the movie and I was like, but it wasn't like this is gonna kill a franchise.
my God.
But you see my source material. Everyone has seen my source material. It's Darth Vader.
That's
Like everyone knows Darth
that's
Vader.
technically
and
that's source
But
material.
nobody
That's
knows
before the
who,
source material.
But nobody
so,
knows
yeah.
who Darth Vader was before he was Darth Vader.
But he
could
has to
been-
have some. You can't just flip a switch like that.
But
you
he
have
could
to.
have been some cheesy little snot.
Number
You know,
three,
that's what he
number
could have
three,
been.
he isn't terrible in. Dare I say that?
No.
He's not terrible in
He's
that movie.
pretty terrible in
But
it.
if
No.
you ask me, Venom was my favorite part of Spider-Man 3. I when he came out, when I saw Venom, even though
Are
it
you
was
kidding me?
even though it was Topher
my
Grace
gosh.
underneath of it.
Do you still have any?
Dan.
Yeah, he's got one left.
Okay, Venom was no one's favorite part of
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3. Hayden Christensen, listen, no one's going to say he was a good actor. George Lucas, the failure for Star Wars episode, those prequels lays on George Lucas. He did not give him anything to work with, and he didn't direct him in any way to give a good performance. I refuse to believe that Robin Hood Men in Tights or
That's a better version.
Yeah.
Decades.
The
And
thing-
Venom killed that franchise. If Venom had been cool, that movie might have done better
Oh,
and
yeah.
been better received.
We
and
would
might
see
have
Carnage.
seen a Spider-Man 4. They got the wimpiest, worst possible choice. They put the best villain in Spider-Man history.
Let me start where he left off. That if we saw Venom, we would have seen Carnage in the next movie. It would have been a building tool. If this went well, it would have been grand and great, and we are just seeing the repercussions of this still now.
All right, so that's all very fair, but now I do want to get to the nitty gritty now because it's about the worst casting, right?
Yeah.
I think in a lot of these, I don't know. I hate your movie, but I'm trying.
And-
I think there was a lot of other pieces of scripting and things in these movies that helped do it. But tell me on why it was the worst casting, which you were implying a little bit. But one more time each round, and tell me why.
I'm not saying that he is solely the purpose of destroying the prequels. I realize that it was because no one said no to George Lucas, because he was George Lucas. You're not going to say no to that. But when you think of Darth Vader, like he's this huge Sith Lord, and you want somebody who can fill those shoes. You want somebody who can become that. And I know that like he gets whiny and his mom dies and he's sad about it, and that's fine, but that's not going to make you evil. You have to have some bit of evil in you, and we didn't see that with Hayden Christensen. We just saw a brat having a tantrum. Like,
That's evil. If you have kids, you know that brats are evil with
But
tantrums.
you can grow out of
Evil.
tantrums. You can, and like you can't grow out of evil.
Well, go ahead.
All right, yeah. So when you thought Venom and you had seen or even like saw a picture of him, you see this like Hulk-like rock stature. No one thinks Eric Foreman of That 70s Show. Ever. And anyone who thought that, including the studio executives and Sam Raimi, they must have been losing their mind for that choice. It just seems so absurd that they even came around to that conclusion. It should be Topher Grace.
Tony, last thought.
Kevin Costner is not British. He can't play British. I mean, if you would have put a different guy like Mel Gibson in that movie,
He's not British.
I don't.
No, but he can play British. He
I
can
don't
do
think
a
Robin
British.
Hood would be a good movie unless it's Robin Hood Men in Tights or the cartoon Robin Hood. Like the story is silly and it lends itself to being silly. You can't have this dramatic Robin Hood. Like Russell Crowe was just Robin Hood, wasn't he? And it was
All right.
terrible.
So final thoughts here. I mean,
Casting wise, I don't know.
Kevin Costner wasn't worse than these two, right? Really?
I think he was.
I mean, these two were really, really, really bad. And I think, that even aside, my opinion of it, I think Venom wins! You made a point of, in casting purpose, Kevin Costner could have played it well, but nobody wants that guy from That 70s Show to be your iconic villain. And I think that was the ultimate win.
And nobody wants the guy from Brokeback Mountain to be Joker either, but look how that happened.
Fight's
I'm
over, my
just
friend. The
saying.
fight's over.
You can get,
Spider-Man
you know.
3 was
All right.
Yeah, it was
So that's a success. Bryan goes to the end here. You are in the finals.
Wonderful.
That means
Where I will
Mika,
embarrass myself.
and Tony. We have to do a quick tiebreaker. Do you know how this works?
Say things
Can we
fast.
cue some tiebreaker music?
Ooh, dramatic.
You guys have to answer quickly. First answer, if you both say the same answer, whoever said it first wins. Okay, so I'm gonna ask a question. Make sure you answer it quickly, and if you say the same thing, I will say who said it first. If you don't say the same thing, you'll get a quick second to argue. Everyone understand how the speed round tiebreaker works?
Nope.
Yes.
Questions?
No questions.
Okay. These two Michael Bay movies are playing on cable. Which one should I watch? Transformers 1 or or the 2014 Ninja Turtle movie?
2014 Ninja
Transformers
Ninja Turtles.
1.
Why Turtles?
Because I am more of a fan of the Turtles than I am of the Transformers. I always have been and I always will be. The Turtles are more iconic in my eyes than the Transformers. And I don't know. Honestly, it's better to me than Transformers was. It's neither of them are great movies, but I would rather watch Turtles than Transformers.
Why Transformers?
Transformers is at least entertaining. I mean, I am so distracted by like the sinewy, veiny, these turtles that are going around. Like, it's kind of distracting. Plus, I didn't like Will Arnett as Casey Jones. I feel like that was a miscast.
He wasn't Casey Jones.
Wasn't? What? No. Oh, well,
he was just April O'Neil's little stooge.
I still didn't like him. I mean, he just grates on you the whole time. At least Transformers is explosions and things going on, and you get distracted by the action, so you don't realize you're watching a bad movie.
I'm just more interested in seeing Turtles than Transformers. That's just me.
It can't be just about you, so therefore she gets the better argument, and therefore Mika pulls it through! That's all I can do. That was really close. But you gotta care, you gotta give me the reason, and sadly then for Tony, he's out. That puts Mika in the finals against Bryan!
Yeah.
Wow, alright guys.
Going down to Chinatown.
You don't get a point, but that puts you both in.
That's
alright?
fine. That's fine.
So,
all right.
Mika and Bryan, now Tony, you did fantastic.
Good job, buddy.
Tony.
Thanks,
Thank
buddy.
you very much.
Good
Tony. Good job.
Thank you.
This is hard. Is this hard?
I shouldn't have taken the Monday hat off. I shouldn't
easier
have
at
taken
my
it
desk.
off.
I
know,
know,
right?
and they can do this?
Hey,
Yeah,
man, we won with
it
Burt
takes a little
Reynolds.
practice.
We won the whole thing.
All right, so now you guys, we're going to the speed round. Same rules apply. Everyone, Bryan, Mika, you understand. I might have you chime in. You can, actually, you can still play, or you can put your coach in if you prefer. You want to
For
play?
the whole speed round?
Yeah.
That seems
I'm no
ridiculous.
coward. I'm no coward.
Yeah, Mika!
There we go.
I'm gonna face you myself.
Okay, good.
Spencer
Here we
always
go.
closed the speed round anyway. It's okay.
Look at this.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, try
All
this
right,
out.
are you guys ready? Same rules. You understand?
yeah,
If you
I'm
say the same
nervous.
answer at the same time, first one wins. If you don't, you'll each get a chance to fight. All right, cue the music. Let's get to the speed round. Deep breaths. Who would win in a fight? Chewbacca or Groot?
Chewbacca.
Ah, she said it.
No.
He knows it's
I
Groot.
was-
Okay, I didn't hear it, so
Yeah.
give me Groot and why, and you'll do
Okay,
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca's just essentially just a furry creature, and he's funny, and he's there for comic relief sometimes, but he doesn't have the powers nor the appendages that stretch across time, like space as Groot does. He is the heart and soul of that team, and he does everything they need him to do. If anything happens, he's always there.
Got it. Why Chewbacca?
Chewbacca is first of all, he's awesome. He shoots around and everything like that, so he has guns. He doesn't need limbs, but that stretch.
doesn't need limbs?
Doesn't need limbs that stretch all over the place. But the thing, I think that Han Solo said it to somebody, like had asked Chewbacca to rip somebody's limbs off, didn't he? Like in the Star Wars, he's just like, I mean, Chewbacca.
Not
can-
sure enough. Groot wins. It's gotta be sure.
It's tough.
This is tough. This is very tough.
I would have said Groot. As the Chewbacca came out.
Bryan gets the point. All right. Best Hollywood Paul.
Newman.
Ooh.
5 seconds.
Rubens.
You can't play, Tony.
I'm gonna say Walker, but it's gonna be yeah. Just give it to
Well,
her. Just give it to her.
Oh, we gave
It's-
in. Making
Honestly,
up the point. All right.
there's no better answer than that.
A victory
No
by
disrespect to
surrender
Paul
is not
Walker.
a
Yeah,
victory.
yeah. No, none
All right.
whatsoever. But yeah.
Still
Thomas
tied.
Anderson. Oh, whatever.
Oh,
You can't play, Tony.
Good
don't,
answer.
Don't chime in, otherwise that's
Whew.
cheating.
I was
Glad
thinking
he's not in the
actor-wise.
speed round.
Paul Thomas
What?
Anderson would be
Ready?
great.
All right.
Yeah,
last
sorry,
one.
go ahead.
Sorry. What is the worst movie starring Vince Vaughn? Taking the time on this one. Yeah.
So much for the speed round.
I have one.
You can't say it.
I know. But after it's done.
The internship.
Okay.
Oh God. It's
5 seconds.
the one where he has all the kids.
Name it.
I can't. Okay.
All right.
It's Delivery Man.
Yes.
But you win! Internship, get it. Good name.
It's a remake of a Canadian
She
film.
couldn't remember the title.
What were you going to say, Tony?
It's the one with him and Anne Heche, Tears of the Sun or Empire of the Sun or
I've never
something
seen
like
it.
that.
I don't know
Of
what
course,
you're
Isn't
talking
Sean
of course
Connery?
you've never seen it.
All right. Next one. Which remake would you rather see? A remake of a popular movie.
Yeah.
Speed or Under Siege?
Speed.
Speed. Damn it.
Mika said it first. She gets the point.
Always bet on speed.
Wrong.
You're wrong.
I
Okay.
agree, but it doesn't matter. Wow, so this is the last one. It's a tie. The winner of this wins the Fan Fights edition of Movie Fights. This is exciting.
luck.
Before we get there, Spencer and Dan. What, am I wrong?
I don't think it's a tie.
I think I'm up by 1, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think Brian's
because
up by 1.
she won the tiebreaker between
Yeah.
the two of
That's
them.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for
Yes.
clarifying. Okay, you're right. I didn't have. So sorry.
checker.
Okay. You have to win this one, Mika, to take it to a last tiebreaker. Otherwise, Brian wins. Thank you for clarifying. Judges, are you nervous?
Yes.
I'm
No.
nervous.
I believe in you.
Dan's nervous for you, and Spencer believe. Wow, that was
We're making eye
It's
contact.
that
there.
nervous anticipation.
All right, here it
Tony
is.
won.
Which movie is better? Bill Murray's Garfield or Dan Aykroyd's Yogi Bear?
Garfield.
I think I got it. That was a tie.
I got it. I got it.
That was
I'm
very
sorry, man.
close.
I got
Play
it.
back.
That's who
I got
that's
it.
who
I got
In
it,
the
buddy.
booth?
Yeah.
What?
Mika got it. No!
What?
Totally.
No, no.
Let's go to the playback.
No, there's no way.
Have an unbiased
JT?
person say
I started talking for.
Go to the playback, boys.
Go.
Redo.
I think I had that one.
I
I
can't
had
play
that
back,
one.
sadly. We're taping this live.
I don't know. The booth went with
I think I started Garfield first,
I
and
mean,
then
I'm
she.
biased,
you
but I
start-
heard Brian.
You guys are
Brian
biased.
first.
I'm going with the unbiased people in the booth. JT?
Said Mika.
What? I started that.
Okay.
Ah.
We're gonna clear that out.
Yeah.
It was too close to call.
Mulligan.
Best movie with revenge in the title.
I heard two.
Revenge of the Nerds.
No.
Mika gets the
I'm
point!
talking about.
I heard two.
I don't know.
Now
I
I'm
know.
going to the
I
title.
know. I know. I know.
Qualified you.
I know.
Now it is tied.
Yeah. Revenge of the Nerds.
Now it is
movie.
tied, and we have one last question. Are you ready?
Yeah. Born Ready.
Both of these movies are also on cable. Which do we watch? Battlefield Earth or The Last Airbender?
Last Airbender.
Battlefield Earth.
I heard Last Airbender.
Oh, okay.
She switched. You can switch.
Ah,
Let her argue. Give her a chance. Let him
she
argue
said
the
it
point.
first. You did say it first, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you change? Be honest. Did you change it because you heard the other one said?
Yeah.
Can you make the argument?
Brian wins. You have to be fair.
I got it right there. That's the
I
reason.
can't make an argument for Battlefield Earth
I
anyway.
got it right there.
It's funny.
I'm sorry, Nick.
Wow.
No, Tony,
That was
no,
so
we won Burt Reynolds. Tony, we won Burt Reynolds. We
That
won.
was so close. I'm so excited because
That's right.
you each are going to get Screen Junkie t-shirts.
Oh boy.
Look at this. You know how in demand these are?
It's raining
But
swag
more
in here.
important than that,
Is this a kid small?
Yeah.
Brian,
Oh,
you
no
get
way.
your own Fights movie belt.
That's insane.
Look at this thing, and it's got an
Crazy.
extension, which ours doesn't even have, so you can actually wear it. Congratulations. You get to keep
Thank
this,
you
my
very
friend.
much. Wow.
How cool is that? Are you guys now even more bummed?
No,
Yes.
he got a hat.
Are you kidding?
Tony got a hat.
I got a hat.
Yeah, I did get a hat. So
Someone on
sorry,
Twitter says
Mika.
all I got is a shirt. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I want to thank, once again, our sponsors, Loot Crate, which I'm getting my script out here for specifically. But people, please help support the show here by going to support Loot Crate. We're giving you a 10% on a subscription, so sign up for a subscription using the link below. LootCrate.com/moviefights. Moviefights10 is the keyword. You got to use the code moviefights10, and we'll give you 10% off Loot Crate. Loot Crate's got a bunch of fun stuff. Every week, you get a new thing in the box. I'm telling you, we all get them. We love them. Please go check it out. And because you guys all came to here to Movie Fights and sprang forward, you're each getting a subscription to Loot Crate for a free month.
I love Loot Crate.
So fantastic. Thanks to Loot Crate. Support them. And thank you guys each for coming. Did you guys have fun?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Was it as good as you expected? Any final thoughts?
I'm
Mika, let's start with you and give you your plug to your Twitter so everyone can support you.
Oh,
At Mika Valleau, your last name, it's on screen. Anything
Valleau.
else? How did I say it wrong? Please say it for me right.
Mika Valleau.
I did do it sort of close. Anything you'd like to plug?
No.
That's
Did you have fun?
Good answer.
I'm not bought.
Okay, good.
Nobody owns this. Nobody owns this.
Brian Chambers at BChambees on Twitter.
B Chambers, yeah.
Yeah.
It's essentially Chambers without an R. Yeah,
did
thank
you have
you so
fun?
much. I had a great time. I
Was it like
want to
you
come
expected?
back. If you guys ever have another one of these, I want to be
You
back.
might have exactly. You might have to another fan fights. We'll have to compete. Next to him, Tony Tubes, Tony Zerr. Thank you so much. It's Tony Tubes Zerr on Twitter, correct?
Yeah, I don't really use Twitter too often.
You're gonna want to now, man.
Hey, Tony's an outlaw, man.
Honestly,
He's waves, man.
Is there anything you prefer to plug?
I'm kind of a maverick, you know.
I'm sure the followers are just.
But no, I do want to plug. I have a YouTube channel called Tube Review where I do Tube's trailer reviews, where I just review like new trailers that have come out and stuff like that, and that's
hilarious.
That's always
funny
fun.
stuff. Go check it out.
Yep.
And I do reviews, 60-second reviews, and movie rants every
What's
other.
the link?
It's Bryan Chambers, 60-second movie reviews.
Awesome. Look them up. Awesome. And Mika isn't bought, so she hasn't got anything to plug.
Yeah, exactly. I watch movies.
Hey, good for you guys. All right. Thank you so much. Reminder that the RSS feed has changed. Keep people asking us if you want to listen on iTunes on your iPhone and stuff. You can go there and check out the new link. It's in our description below. Please go support, rate, comment, subscribe, so we can keep doing well there. And also, as always, tell us what fight you want to see next. I want to thank our judges, Spencer Gilbert. You were so close. Your champion almost did it, but Dan Murrell.
I'm indecisive.
Dan Murrell,
I'm so proud.
The champion still remains undefeated. It seems.
Congrats to
Does
Bryan.
seem a little unfair.
Congrats to Bryan. You were great. You were very
Nick
Dan-esque. You know,
Very
you're
Dan-like
good. You
win.
sucked the fun out of it, but you're good.
Technicality Dan wins.
Yeah. Tony, it was a pleasure. I'm gonna kiss you in the
Absolutely.
mouth. Mika, you're fantastic. I will abstain.
Wow.
Awesome, and please follow me at Andy Signore on Twitter and Instagram. And always tell us what you want to see here in the fights, and how do we do? Who do you like? Who do you want to see back? Who do you want to see in the future? Tell us on Twitter and on comments and YouTube. And thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you
This was so
guys.
fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for the support of Screen
really
Junkies.
good.
That's
Yeah.
why you're here.
They were
Thank
really
all
good.
of you at home. I'm sorry we couldn't bring you in. We had so many good submissions, didn't we, guys?
Yeah,
but they
so
were
many
really
of you
good.
were really,
They
really
were.
good.
They were great.
They were great. You were all really great. I'm sorry we had to pick three.
My schedule's pretty open if you need me to come back.
Yeah.
Me too.
We will
Very
keep
open.
doing these. Please keep submitting yourselves and your comments. And thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, everybody. And thanks again.
Thank you.
Every podcast we put on YouTube comes with this kick-ass graphic listing all the topics your favorite Screen Junkies podcasters are talking about. If you click the topics, you can skip around and choose your own podcast battle royale. Go ahead, try them all. If you haven't already, subscribe to Screen Junkies on YouTube to join us for future fights. Or if you prefer to listen on iTunes, click the logo to download an audio version.